and I am Sister Douglas Gravagna. I want to thank my elected officials and guests for the opportunity to speak here today. I was asked to share a few words outlining how my family, and representing the 90-plus other families which have been impacted by our governor's failure to restore funding to life-saving transplants through access in our state. About 6 months ago, in the month of October of 2010, is when my brother Douglas Gravagna and the 90-plus other individuals were notified by mail that they would be denied coverage by access for their individual life-saving transplant procedures. Once the collective shock wore off, my family decided it would be necessary to contact both our elected officials and the media in order to voice our anger and utter disbelief. How could our government turn their back and deny our loved one coverage? We rallied, and over the past several months have met with various elected officials, local and national reporters, and families cut from transplant coverage, all in a quest of a solution that would hopefully reinstate access funding for patients in need of transplant operations. I don't think that it is difficult for anyone here to imagine what a shock it must be for someone to hear from their doctor, "You need a transplant or you're going to die." Later, you learn that your own state health care agency would no longer provide the funding coverage for that life-saving transplant procedure. It should be mentioned that these transplant candidates, prior to their illness, were all hardworking, contributing members to our Arizona community. Just because they acquired a life-altering disease at the time when Arizona faces a large budget deficit, that does not mean we cannot find funding somewhere in the budget to save their lives. Where is the tenacity of our elected officials to help these individuals, and why has government thus far failed us all? Having been personally involved in this issue over the past few months, I want to share with each of you that I truly believe that we can mobilize and effect change in our lawmakers to reinstate the transplant funding needed. All it takes is our continued effort to raise awareness, and we as citizens need to stand in unity. I truly believe in the goodness among the citizens of this great state, and it's not their desire that the current budget deficit should be balanced by withholding to the 90-plus individuals a life-saving transplant that they so desperately need. I began this journey in a desperate attempt to save my brother's life, and my job will not be complete, and I will continue to fight until restoration of life change comes about for all. Human life should never be compromised on any level. Speaking on behalf of all the affected transplant families, I hope that Arizona lawmakers and Governor Brewer understand that sacrificing needed coverage that saves lives is not good governance. Our elected officials need to find solutions that don't jeopardize the most vulnerable of the governed. Over 20 years ago, my family and I decided to make Arizona our home. We chose to believe that our legislator here in Arizona is for the people and not just an embodied panel of individuals playing God. I close by pledging my faith in the great state of Arizona, and that we as citizens will continue to unite so the voice of the people can and will be heard in order to save the lives of all. I feel in my heart a pragmatic solution can be found, especially when more than 26 sound solutions have been submitted to the governor and her administration, accompanied by current supporting data showing that transplants do work. So, we say to you, the people of Arizona, Governor Brewer, you can no longer turn a blind eye. You must reinstate funding now. These people are running out of time. No more lives need to be lost as a result of your position of denial. Yeah.